name is synonymous with evil, a man who appeared kind, intelligent, and charismatic, yet harbored a dark secret. He was one of the most prolific and horrifying serial killers in American history. Over the next hour, we will delve into his early life, his calculated murders, his trial, and his legacy, piecing together the chilling story of a killer who shocked the world. Ted Bundy was born Theodore Robert Cowell on November 24, 1946, to Eleanor Louise Cowell. His birth was shrouded in secrecy. He was raised believing his grandparents were his parents, and his mother was his sister. This deception, common at the time for unwed mothers, left deep scars. Psychologists later speculated that this disrupted sense of identity may have played a role in shaping his psychological makeup. Family friends recalled that young Ted displayed unusual behavior. He enjoyed tormenting animals and spying on neighbors. These early warning signs, combined with his isolation, painted the picture of a boy who felt disconnected from the world around him. In the 1960s and early 1970s, Ted Bundy seemed to be living the American dream. He attended the University of Washington and majored in psychology. His professors described him as intelligent and ambitious, while peers admired his charm. But beneath this polished exterior lurked a growing darkness. Bundy dated Elizabeth Kendall, a single mother. To her, he was the perfect boyfriend, helpful, loving, and supportive. But she later revealed in her memoir, The Phantom Prince, My Life with Ted Bundy, that there were moments of unease. Ted had a temper, and his actions were sometimes inexplicably cold. These red flags would take on new meaning after his arrest. The first confirmed murders occurred in 1974. Linda Ann Healy, a college student in Seattle, disappeared from her basement apartment. Police found no signs of forced entry, but noted her bed was stripped and her belongings were missing. This marked the beginning of a chilling pattern. Ted Bundy had a type. Young women with long, dark hair parted in the middle. Experts theorized that these women resembled his ex-girlfriend, Diane Edwards, who had rejected him years earlier. Bundy's murders were as much about control as they were about revenge. Bundy's reign of terror extended beyond Washington. In Utah, he abducted Carol DeRanche in broad daylight, posing as a police officer. She narrowly escaped after fighting off Bundy in his car, providing one of the first eyewitness accounts that would later lead to his arrest. Meanwhile, young women were disappearing in Colorado. Police noted similarities between the cases. The victims were young, attractive, and vanished without a trace. Bundy's ability to cross state lines made him difficult to track, frustrating investigators. In 1975, Bundy was pulled over in Utah. Inside his car, police found suspicious items: handcuffs, an ice pick, and rope. Bundy was arrested, but this was far from the end. During a hearing in Aspen, Colorado, Bundy jumped from a second-story window, vanishing into the wilderness for days. His second escape from a high-security facility in Glenwood Springs was even more audacious. He starved himself to fit through a hole in the ceiling. These escapes allowed Bundy to continue his killing spree, culminating in the infamous Florida murders. In Florida, Bundy committed some of his most brutal crimes. At the Chi Omega sorority house, he bludgeoned 4 women, killing 2, in a rampage that left the nation horrified. His final victim, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, marked the end of his spree. Bundy was arrested shortly after, and the evidence against him was overwhelming. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was bite marks left on Lisa Levy, one of the Chi Omega victims. Forensic odontologists matched the marks to Bundy's teeth, securing his conviction. Bundy's trial was a media spectacle. Acting as his own attorney, he delivered impassioned arguments, but his charm wasn't enough to save him. He was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to death. Bundy proposed to his girlfriend, Carol Ann Boone, during the trial, using a loophole in Florida law to make it legal. This bizarre act epitomized Bundy's need for control and attention. On January 24, 1989, Bundy was executed in the electric chair. Crowds outside celebrated, holding signs reading, "Burn, Bundy, burn." But for the families of his victims, his death brought little closure. Bundy's case changed the way law enforcement handled serial killers. It highlighted the need for better communication between states and led to the rise of profiling by the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit. Decades after his death, Bundy remains a figure of fascination, inspiring countless books, movies, and documentaries. But as we dissect his life, let us remember the victims. Women whose lives were cut short by a man who thrived on their suffering. Ted Bundy's story is a haunting reminder of the evil that can hide behind a smile. His crimes forever changed America, leaving a legacy of pain, but also lessons for law enforcement and society. May we never forget the victims who lost their lives at the hands of a man who pretended to be ordinary. If you found this story engaging, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what story you'd like us to cover next.